We can't hear you, Patrick.
As usual, I'm so good at this. Welcome back to Disenthrall Plebs. I'm Patrick Smith for the next hour anyway. This is going to be like a fun hangout stream where we celebrate some big news that's coming up and we just kind of hang out with our Disenthrall fans. And I've got not one, but two special guests for you for this stream. And we're going to kind of like celebrate the 6 years that I have been, or that we have been working on producing Disenthrall content. And so, yeah, like pull up a chair, welcome, chill. We're going to have a really big surprise and a couple little surprises and just a lot of good, fun hangout time. So without further ado, let me introduce both of our special guests. First of all, Kason. Welcome to the show, Kason.
Hello,
good to have you,
humans.
sir. And super special guest, returning to the show after literal years, we have Ryan. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
What's up?
So, for those of you that have been Disenthrall watchers, viewers, subscribers for a really long time, you will recognize Ryan. He was in all of the original early videos. He did a lot of our really cool early stuff. He's a hilarious guy. I was really sad when he had to go do other things in life, but I asked him to come back just for this show because we're going to be like going back in time and we're going to look at some of our old videos and we're going to reminisce and laugh at ourselves and all of Patrick's terrible hairdos over time. And yeah, so
We're just jealous that you can still grow it, Patrick. That's what it is.
What'd you say? What?
We're just jealous that you can still have hair. I mean, look at us. You know.
Yeah, it's probably
this is
not.
a choice.
All right. What's up, Eric? What's up, Attack Helicopter L? Ooh, we got a nice crowd in here today. Good to see all of you guys. Hey, Sherry and Cap. Awesome, Kason. Yeah. All right. So, should I bury the lead or should we lead with the lead? What do you think?
Lead with the lead.
Lead with the lead.
What is the announcement, Patrick?
Okay, so like a week ago, I posted on my Facebook that we have some of the massive, biggest news announcement thing ever happening. And I said it was going to be like announced that day or the next day and then like nothing. And it wasn't my fault. We were waiting on the person to make the announcement. And finally, the announcement has been made. And I want to share it with all the Disenthrall subscribers and viewers that have been with us for 6 years. You're going to be the first ones that I sort of tell and celebrate it with. So without further ado.
And then on top of that, there's Anarchast. I started Anarchast in 2011. There was hardly any content about anarchy on the internet. Man, people need to understand free markets. It is the key to fixing this world. And hardly anyone knows about it, and hardly anyone even talks about it. And if some people talk about it, they talk about it like it's crazy or it's dangerous. And I was like, I'm going to change that. It was so hard to do. I was just not comfortable on camera.
Seriously? Come on, VMix.
You must wait a little bit longer.
Come on, VMix. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go.
There in front of a camera and interviewing people and all that, but I had to do it because no one was getting any exposure for what was at the time dozens, which turned into hundreds and then now thousands and tens of thousands and maybe even hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of amazing voluntarists now. So no one was giving them a platform to be discovered. So I decided I would do it. And I ended up doing over 500 episodes. Lou Rockwell, Doug Casey, Walter Block, Jeffrey Tucker, Larkin Rose, Mark Passio. But it occurred to me after this year's in Acapulco, I was like, I need to make some changes. I'm not doing the things I love. And like I said, this is what I've been talking about. Do what your passion is. And I did those things for a reason, especially Anarchast, because I thought it was just so important and no one else was doing it. So I did it. But it wasn't my passion. I think the Anarchast format's still really important. So what I decided to do was to try to pick someone who I thought would be the best person to be the new host of Anarchast. And no, it's not Lucy. And it was a tough decision. I'm not going to tell you all the people I considered, but there was a lot of people that I thought could do an amazing job. But I finally decided on Patrick Smith. And if you don't know him, he actually already has a show called Disenthrall. He's really good. And in talking to him, and this is when I knew this was going to work, I was telling him why I don't want to do it anymore. And he said, well, you know, my passion, the thing I love most is interviewing people. And I was like, oh, then you should do it because that's your passion. I don't like it. I gotta like ruin my whole day waiting around to do this interview. They're usually late, there's some technical difficulty, and then I gotta sit there for an hour. And most of the stuff they're saying is really interesting. It's nothing against them. But I just gotta sit there, get through the interview. Like, it's not something I love at all. But I did it because I thought it was important. So, on that note, Patrick Smith is going to be relaunching an Anarchast coming up Friday, which I think will be tomorrow by the time you see this. He's actually going to do it. He's full of ideas. He's like so excited to do it. He said this is like I forget the word he told me. It's like almost like a gift from God to be given Anarchast. I think he's definitely overestimating it, but like he's that excited about it, and all his plans are really cool. He's going to have live stream with live chat, and he's really a great speaker and interviewer. He knows his stuff. He's when it comes to narco-capitalism, voluntarism, he probably knows a lot of stuff more than I do. He's a great speaker on it. He's very eloquent. He's very charming, charismatic, and he's just like so pumped to do this. So Anarchast will now be run by Patrick Smith. I'll have nothing to do with it. It should still go on to do some great things. In fact, I think he's such a better host than me that it might do way better without me.
Yeah, so I guess that's me. What's up, guys? Yeah, that's the big news. That is the big news. Woo!
That's
yeah.
most exciting, Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of speechless, but I'm so freaking excited. Like, one of the things I love doing on this channel is talking to cool people, challenging them on their ideas, and having them challenge me on mine. And it feels, for the record, I didn't say it felt like something from God. And I think Kason caught that. I said that it felt like a cheat code because, like, the three of us, you know, we've all at one point in our lives been trying to grow the Disenthrall platform. And, you know, 6 years later, we're at like 2,600 subscribers on YouTube. You know, we have 6,000, 7,000 on other places or whatever, but still, that's like nothing in the span of anything. So, like getting the larger platform, I said it just feels like a cheat code, and you know, I'm super honored and speechless and excited, and we're gonna have like a long list of awesome people that we're gonna interview over there, and we also are gonna still have our Disenthrall platform to do amazing things with, and it's just gonna be awesome. So that's the big surprise. Okay. We're done. Goodbye. Okay. So I want to. We'll just pull this up in the background. I'll hide your guys' cameras when we play it. But I went through the history of the YouTube channel, and I went back to the very beginning, and I just started looking through our videos. I got really nostalgic. I miss it all. I love the old videos, and I love the stuff that we did with Ryan a long time ago when we did our skits, and then with Kason, he had us do those drawing, you know, the Microsoft Paint videos, and so I just wanted to like hang out with you guys, and welcome you to the show again, and kind of go through our old videos. So without further ado, let's look at some of these. So this is the oldest video on the YouTube channel right now. And obviously I'm not going to play all these because it's like an hour long, but this was the very first one, Ryan. You'll remember this. Here we go.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about a very important and popular topic right now, net neutrality.
Okay.
It's in your face.
No. In the beginning, God created. No. So, in the beginning, Ryan designed the Disenthrall logo back in the day, and he is a professional. He does UI UX design in his day job. He's amazing at it. And back in the day, he was trying to design the logo, and I was basically like, Ryan, we were talking about what we wanted, and I was like, well, if we had an eye that was, sort of uncovered, we pulled the blinders off so that they could see the violence of government that's invisible, the invisible gun in the room that is violence. And so he made this eye.
We had like 25 thesaurus tabs open on our browser trying to figure out a word to use. I remember that. And that's how we found Disenthrall. And then we just read the definition of that, and we're like, okay, how do we get a logo that represents that word? And so
yeah. And so for those that don't know, let's see, I have it in the Discord server. So a thrall, this is something that most people don't really know. Thrall, Thrall, is the state of being in the power of another person, or under the sway of an influence, one such as a slave or serf who is held in bondage. And so that's what a thrall is. Now, to enthrall someone is to hold a person spellbound, to captivate them, to enslave them, to reduce the condition of or hold as a thrall or captive, enslave or hold in bondage or subjection or subjugation. And then to disenthrall is to free from a controlling force or influence, to free from thraldom, to liberate from slavery, bondage, or servitude, free or rescue anything that holds in subjection, whether physical or mental, to release from thraldom or slavery, to give freedom to disenthrall. So that was like the inception of the name of the channel and the whole idea behind what we're doing with this platform. And that was our inspiration for the logo, which looks a little Illuminati. We've been accused. We've been accused of over the years of, I think one guy on BitChute said, he says, this channel is Freemasonry or something like that.
I mean, there's so many ways that you can make a triangular shape. I mean, good God.
There's only so many shapes.
It's two curtains opening up. There just happens to be a fucking triangle there.
Yeah. And in the original videos, this was the opening of all the original videos, and it had that animation in it. Let me turn the volume down this time because I didn't know how to mix volume properly in the beginning. But yeah, so it was like you see the curtains opening and revealing the eye. We're drawing the curtains back. We're showing people the truth. And that was the Disenthrall logo. Anyway, so here we go. Where are we? Where's our sound? YouTube. This is YouTube.
Today we're going to talk about a very important and popular topic right now: net neutrality.
So loud.
I feel like Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights. I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. And notice that the screen on the wall is gone, though, because that was a virtual screen that I had to green screen in. I mean, that I had to key in. And it was absolutely terrible. I think I spent a week trying to render this first video. But look at those lower thirds, though.
Download music off of
Anyway, so we did this hour-long episode on net neutrality. And don't we look like babies, though?
Yeah, for sure.
Tangent that we got to.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like it's related, but it's actually really related.
Got the laptops and a tablet.
Yeah.
First, I want to say, you made that.
What's up with the $1 bill, like counterbalancing the microphone? What's up with that?
Very observant. We had a dollar bill in almost all of our videos hidden somewhere, and that was like a theme that ran for a long time, and until I think I moved houses and the dollar bill got lost, and we never did that again, and we never explained why we did the dollar bill.
Yeah. But random people would ask about it.
Yeah, constantly. Yep. I kind of missed the dollar bill, actually. We should put that back in. Yeah, I do. We look like little babies with no facial hair. All right, so that was the first video. Then,
ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of our national anthem?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
If you think the government derives its just powers from your consent, you're about to learn something. Consent of the governed is clown shoes. How was that for an intro? It was lame. That's what it was. It was freaking lame. But anyway, so this is actually one of my favorite videos of all time for the channel. We got a ton of views early on. It's still one of our best performing videos just because it's so shareable and it really explains the consent of the governed in an entertaining and fun way. So if you guys haven't seen this particular video, look it up on the channel. Consent of the governed can't exist. Man, we sat there though, Ryan, you remember, I think this is probably when you made the decision to not be on the channel ever again. When we recorded the entire thing, start to finish, 3 times, 4 times, and then tried to edit it all together, and I think I just wore you out, basically. Good times.
I remember, we were just, when we were thinking about this, it was well, I can do a ridiculous, older person accent, I guess. It's okay, cool, let's throw a wig on you.
Yep.
So now I gotta know, where's the hidden dollar in this frame?
See, we moved sets.
I think this was in a different house. Yeah, we've skipped forward in time. Yeah. Yeah, it's not in here. It's not in here.
Yeah.
Dude, I see all of y'all's... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying at the end of the video, don't I, change the wig for a hat or something like that? I forget what that...
Thank you guys all for the congratulations in the comments. That's amazing. Sir Exotic would like to know, Ryan is a designer, wants a link to your portfolio. Do you want to post a link in the comments or something where people can reach you?
I don't really have a portfolio.
He's so badass that he doesn't need to show off to anybody. No, he's really good.
I definitely need to get on that for sure.
Yep. Let's see. Sherry loves the name Disenthrall. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Still catching up. Awesome. You look so young. You like my hair better now. Me too. It's definitely more me now. Explain the dollar now. So, Ryan, do you want to explain the dollar now?
I think it was just something that we wanted to have in each video to see if people recognize it, right? I mean, that's basically it, right?
Yeah, but it was also it was a little hint to capitalists, oh crap. I hit a button. Yeah, put a dollar in everything. This was when I was really diving heavily into Ayn Rand, and I was inspired by Galt's Gulch and the dollar sign and all that stuff. So, it was just cool to have the dollar in there for everything. Spontaneous Order asks, "What's an anarchast?" I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a show. It's a show that's been around for a while. It's got 500 episodes of interviewing all sorts of people, all sorts of anarchists mainly. So you were probably joking. All right, so moving on. Next we have proof voting doesn't work. This was when we were starting to try and figure out where we wanted the channel to go and what kinds of content we were going to be good at creating. I saw everything from the zoomed out perspective. And this also begins the worst phase of Patrick's hair. Please ignore. Recently, because I was talking with somebody and I was arguing back and forth with somebody who thinks that voting is the way we make a difference. And if we don't like how the government's run and if we don't like how this country operates, that we just have to vote really hard and become an activist and, you march in the streets and, you protest and talk to people and all this stuff to get them to vote to change the government. And it was I had this zoom out moment where I saw everything from a 260-year history of the country perspective. And I've also been thinking a lot lately about how much wisdom and knowledge and experience is lost when people pass on. And the futility of working within this system, I think, is one of the biggest bits of experience and wisdom that gets lost when people pass on. Because Kason, were you involved at this point? Weren't you in the room?
I believe at that point I was, and that's whenever we had already implemented a live switcher, because whenever it was the presidential debates, it was you in between, at the time, Hillary and Donald going back and forth, where you're in the middle trying to give like the voice of reason. And then I think I put myself in as Harambe the gorilla, which was a meme at the time.
Yes, you did. It was awesome. All right, so this is, I think, one of the first episodes where Kason appeared in on screen.
What did he just say?
They're basically talking about providing a living wage, I guess.
Yeah,
Right. It's country.
Question. I'll be the question guy. So let's say there's 100 people. Let's make this a more simple calculation. There's 100 people, and we're in an island, and this is the United States. It's very small. And most people are working and some people aren't. If somebody guarantees that those people who are not working get basically a house and food and everything delivered to them, why would the others keep working? This is a pure practical question outside of the morality of it's, taken from them. But why would they keep working? Like if I got paid for my old job that I used to have whenever I was employed, but I didn't have to come in, like would I come in? I don't know.
I think it's the
Kason before facial hair. We're all little babies. Look at him now. He's got a man's beard. He's grown up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, boy. Don't you forget it.
So we met Kason at the Voluntarists of Dallas meetup group, and he walked in, and we've told the story before, but I freaked him out because I was dressed in like a bloody V for Vendetta / 1984 shirt, and I had my gun on or whatever, and we almost didn't connect that day because I was dressed so crazy looking. But then as soon as he heard that I had a YouTube channel and we started talking about video production, I ended up going back to his house that first day, and we started talking about equipment and everything that we did, and the rest is history. The rest is history. All right. Then I think Walter Block may have been one of our first big guests. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to have as our guest today Walter Block. He is Harold, he is Harold E. Worth Endowed Chair and Professor of Economics at Loyola University. And so I was so psyched. Man, I was so excited to have this guy. Author of 500... and we ended up having an amazing talk, and I think if you remember, Kason, at the end, didn't he say something like it was one of his best interviews?
He did, and then I went, whenever I was traveling through New Orleans, I met up with him, and he remembered the discussion something like 9 months later, and he's like, oh yeah, Patrick, he's a fun guy to talk to, haha. He's got an interesting way of talking.
Yeah, so we ended up going all over the sort of the philosophical map. We ended up on abortion, and, at the time... I couldn't believe it. I was kind of astounded. I seemed to have made a good point that he agreed with, and it, changed his position a little bit on evictionism, which I think after that he may have forgotten about. I don't know. Maybe we need to revisit it. But then we have so this was in the middle of Patrick was having a really hard time making new content because my standards were really high, and I didn't really feel like I could put out quality enough content. And Kason was like, well, you know what? Why don't you just do a voiceover, and we'll draw in Microsoft Paint or something along with it, and it doesn't matter. Throw out all notions of quality, and let's just create some content. And it ended up being...
Today I want to tell you a story about Jordan and about property and what it is.
Cool video that a lot of people have it's just I link it to people all the time.
That's Jordan. Except...
And we explain the basics of property, why it exists, and what the rules are, and so thanks to Kason, he lowered my standards in the best of ways. Thank you, Kason. And we started actually making content again that started helping people. So good times. Then there was the phase where I tried to, again, we're still trying to figure out where the channel is and what we're doing with it, and around this time, the cartoon ANCAPs on YouTube were really big, and they were making a lot of content, and there was channels were multiplying like rabbits everywhere. And I was like, well, I can I can do that too.
Hey guys, welcome. I'd like to take a quick moment here.
And so this is ANCAP Man.
Go up briefly on the Anarchast YouTube.
And I spent like 30 minutes rebutting Lauren Southern when she appeared on Jeff Berwick's show. And I did it all as kind of in character as ANCAP Man, which was fun. But I think this was the only video we ever made with ANCAP Man, right, Kason? I don't know.
I think so. There was one other thing that was made with ANCAP Bald Man.
ANCAP Bald Man.
Yeah, because it was around the time that I think Anarchy Ball was taken down or something happened to it. Actually, I think one of the guys in the comments was an admin on the page. He may be able to shed some light onto what was going on. But I think at that time it's like, hey, let's try that.
Yeah. And it was fun. It was. I mean, I put a lot of work into the character, but it turned out good. It just feels weird. It felt weird for me, like, I don't know, voicing a puppet instead of just talking to people. Anyway, so I just never did that again. Then Kason, this was Kason's first video on the channel where it was just him, and he made his own little content.
This is why you should give a hoot about the Stanley Milgram experiments in 2 minutes or less. Setup. It's 1961 in New Haven, Connecticut. Stanley Milgram puts out an ad asking for 500 men to help in a study on memory and learning. Experiment. The participants are divided into what they call quote-unquote learners and quote-unquote teachers to study the effect of pain and memory. The quote-unquote learners are hooked to an electroshock generator and are to learn a series of word pairs, with wrong answers being punished with increasingly higher voltage electroshock. Now there's a plot twist. The learner is actually an actor, and the teacher is the subject of the real experiment to see if people will apply seemingly lethal electric shocks because a man in a white lab coat told them to do so. Now,
So one thing Kason's always been really good at is condensing material down into really short messages that people can absorb quickly. And because he does that in other areas for other people, like that's part of what, correct me if I'm wrong, what you do in your day job is you help other people produce video content where they teach people things. And so he's really, really good at doing this. And, I hope he does more of stuff like this if he has time. He's been really busy lately. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Sherry says, give a hoot, don't be a violent dickbag. Yeah. So she managed to shorten what Kason said down even further just then.
No one likes a dick bag.
No.
DBADB, don't be a dick bag.
Done. End of video. That's like 2 seconds long. So then, in like the fifth type of format that I tried doing, I tried vlogging for 30 days straight, which I failed. But one of the best...
I like this, okay? I like the vlogs.
Really? Okay.
We're in a pretty rush today. We are headed out to another Don't Comply.
So it was very Casey Neistat-esque. And I just tried to put out one video every day. And I mean, some of them were better than others, but it was pretty good. But one of the coolest things that happened in this was the first Feed the Need. I'd never been to a Feed the Need event before, and anybody that's been watching this channel for any amount of time definitely knows about Feed the Need by now, so I'm not going to explain it again. But you can actually watch me sort of vlogging my experience with the first Feed the Need and like the impact that it had on me, and realizing that people slept on the concrete and stuff like that. And so that was the beginning of a lot of activism with the Don't Comply guys, which eventually I was honored to basically be accepted as like a member of Don't Comply or whatever. And, the rest is destiny. But that was that video. It was good times.
I think the vlogs are good for like learning. You learn something new whenever you do them. You're basically going around sticking cameras in people's faces, and you got to deal with that awkwardness, that initial awkwardness, and get content out of it, So I'm sure you learned a lot during that process.
Yeah, you were one of the people that I like stuck a camera in their face at some point. Like, I remember we were going to eat at lunch somewhere, and I brought my camera because I was vlogging, and it made a normal dinner pretty awkward. So, or normal lunch, whatever.
More interesting.
Huh?
I remember, Patrick, you reached out to me and you're like, dude, editing is such a beast. Why is it so hard? I just want to get like 3 minutes of content out of this. It's taking forever. So like seeing the bottomless abyss that is post-production and video production, it's a nightmare. That's why do it live, baby.
And vlog, yeah, it's true.
And Kason, again, that was another big influence that you had on the channel. Like, one of the problems why I never made content back then was because editing took so long. So, like, I would record the vlog for the day, and then I would spend like 4 hours every day editing these vlogs to make them all artsy and cool and entertaining. It was just not sustainable. And so eventually, thanks to Kason, his licenses and knowledge and expertise of software like vMix, what we're using today, we're able to live produce the show.
I mean, pretty much everybody came to that same conclusion. All the vloggers, like, most of them have stopped doing daily vlogs because they're like, it's not sustainable. So I think that live streaming content is definitely the evolution of all that.
Like, did Casey Neistat stop, or is he still doing it? He was like the founding father.
He's doing like monthly videos now, at the most. Yeah,
that's more sustainable. Maybe I should try like once a month vlogging.
Yeah, well, now you go into Twitch, and the IRL section is the largest section of the entire platform because people want to see live streaming in real life content.
Yes, Sherry, Kason is a wonderful, wonderful, nice man. I agree. Yeah, there's some comments saying that they like the vlog, so maybe occasionally we can do that. And so then after that, we had the next Feed the Need 5. This was the first one that I really participated in and helped out and made a big video for. It's one of our most successful videos on the entire channel. That's an interesting thing. Twitch IRL equals e-thoughts. Yeah, right, ANCAP? For sure.
Yeah. A lot of it is not IRL.
This is coming from the guy who's on Pornhub, but anyway.
Yeah. We're up to like 20 or 30,000 views on Pornhub. I can't pull it up now because it'll get banned on 18 out of 19 of our platforms. But yeah, anyway. So what was I saying? So yeah, this was the first year where we did this. This was one of our most successful videos. The most successful video on the platform to date, actually, was when I think it was the first in the entire world, we live streamed the 3D printing of a Liberator right when that was first coming out. Like when the news of 3D printable guns started blowing up, I threw a 3D printer in there and I printed the entire gun, and then we did live streams. It was like 4 live streams. This was like, I don't know, 48 to 60 hours of video or whatever, but I think we were the first in the world to live stream the 3D printing of a gun, and those videos got insane views and then got deleted by YouTube. So I think maybe one of them's still around, but yeah.
And to be clear, that was whenever not only the concept of 3D printable guns, because that had been out for a couple of years, but the concept of banning 3D printable guns from all websites and trying to scrub them for, the good of the people, the good of the public, that sort of thing. Got to keep your kids safe from all these 3D printable gun massacres that are happening out there.
And how's that worked out?
People jump straight to thinking that you're going to print a Glock right out of your 3D printer and it's going to be good to go,
Yeah.
They just jump straight to the worst.
But what's funny is though, like, I found a 3D printed pistol that I had made years ago and forgotten about. Like, when you buy it like an actual pistol, these things are, hundreds of dollars. You don't lose them. You know where they are at all times, But like you 3D printed, I mean, you just print them out and, I just totally forgot I had it. Forgot I made it. Wow. Go me.
I've got like 50 3D printed guns around my room. I don't know where they are.
And so I posted on Facebook. I was like, that feeling when you find $50 in your coat? Well, imagine the feeling when you just find a gun that you 3D printed that you forgot about. Yeah, that was me. Yesterday. It was good times. So then came the phase of the party. The Libertarian Party. And it was some of the most frustrating times I think I've ever had, and it was also some of the most hilarious and entertaining times I've ever had. And, part of that was getting to participate in debates.
Mr. Smith. So the libertarian principle that I'm sure you're all familiar with is that no one has the right to control the movement of a peaceful person. Unless you own the land, of course. If it's private property, you control it. Did you know that Texas has its own 3-branch military? I had no idea until a few weeks ago when I started reading Miss Glass's website, where she plans, as a libertarian, to take control of one of the branches of this military to replace border security. I just thought it was interesting thinking about a libertarian winning an office with a private, with a government extortion-funded military to provide border security. Now, granted, in your defense, she's going to...
It was so much fun.
They're all shitting themselves.
And it was so easy because the principles are so simple. Like, you just stand up and you're like, well, the libertarian principle is this, and that person is doing this, and that person is supporting that. And then you sit down, and then half of the entire Libertarian Party hates you. That's...
I want this guy.
What'd you say, Kason?
What do you have against the Libertarian Party, though? Come on.
Aside from the non-libertarians that are all over the place, nothing, I guess.
It's a serious solution to a serious problem. You should take it more seriously, you jerk ANCAP.
So we had some great times. I will probably do this again in a couple years when the rotation comes back around, just because it provided an opportunity to talk to a whole lot of people that might not have otherwise been able to talk to. It's fun, it's frustrating, it's in a lot of ways a massive waste of time, but you also get good content like this where you get to just stand there and state libertarian principles in the face of people that have no idea what they're talking about.
And Sherry just said that those debates were her first exposure to you. She says, I was like, I have got to talk to that guy, and she's so glad that she did. But a lot of people did.
I was about to say, it's probably more about the people watching this process than about the process itself.
Yeah,
you're gonna reach them more than you're gonna change the minds of the people on that stage.
Oh, no doubt. And there was a whole lot of that. Like, there's probably, Kason, you would know, like maybe 6 or 8, maybe 10 people that are in our close circle of good friends that we appreciate having in our lives that we met through that dumpster fire of a process. And, we even got labeled the destroyers, trying to destroy the party because people that were mired in the process and politics and red tape and garbage, life-sucking mess that the party is, they saw me just basically stating the principles simply and clearly, and you too, Kason, and they ended up leaving positions of leadership in the party. So we became this destroyer force that was undermining everything that they were there for. But what that's resulted in is we have a massive circle of really good principled people now around us. I regret nothing. All right. So then, Larkin Rose. I watched a debate between Larkin Rose and Adam Kokesh, and it was basically on the efficacy of Adam Kokesh's presidential campaign strategy. And Larkin basically showed very clearly that my strategy was not a good one. It was not even a libertarian one. I was basically using a lot of the same lines that Kokesh was using. If I win, if I'm elected, I will I will end the government and quit and resign and free everyone. I will free everyone. Vote for me. And it's disgusting to even say now, but I had a couple really good conversations with Larkin Rose on this, and then it culminated in this interview.
Hello, welcome to Disenthrall. I am Patrick Smith, currently running for not governor of Texas. Today with me we have the Larkin...
Shut up, Ryan.
Today with me today.
You already knew.
I knew, Ryan. Today with me today. Yeah. So Larkin sort of opened my eyes like he's done for so many people, and I totally changed my campaign strategy, and it became about the Declaration of Individual Independence that we had a bunch of people collaborate with us to create, and we started printing that out and passing it around, and this was my first interview with Larkin, and we were just getting to know him, and it ended up turning into a beautiful friendships all around and partnerships on various projects. We've helped Larkin do a whole lot of stuff since then, and good times. Then,
Hey guys, real quick heads up. I am heading to I think they're calling it the Dallas March for Lives. It's basically an anti-gun protest starting in about half an hour at Dallas City Hall. Going to be trying to talk to some people, see why they're there, see why they think they have the right to control what peaceful people own to protect themselves. Should be interesting.
And so this was like a vlog style day, and it really blew my mind. Like, seeing the sheer number of people in Texas. I would have never ever thought that like 20,000 people in Texas would gather to protest against gun rights.
It's Dallas, Texas, though, so.
That's true. But
you're talking about big city Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, big city Texas. Very, very true. And so this was me like realizing, oh my God, even in Texas, I'm surrounded by sheep. You can like see the look on my face. I'm like, guys, we're fucked. that was this face right here. So then, we talked, we did our own little counter protest. We were all open carrying. This was a blast. And at the end, we had this guy that, we just cornered, and he had no idea what to say. And so he just kind of lost his mind and said, well, y'all are just gonna say stuff that you say that, and you're wrong. And he walks off. And that was good times. Yeah.
So I didn't know that you guys actually went onto a stage during this, right? With open carrying?
Yes, we did. We walked up. Let me see if I can find it in here. Center main
hilarious.
stage. It would probably take me a while to. Oh, right here.
Just triggering the fuck out of everybody.
Oh yeah, right there. Middle fingers, peace sign, guns, and look at the guy coming up behind us. He's like, "Oh wait, this is not good." Oh yeah, but it was their property, so when they asked us to leave, we did it because that's what we do. We respect property. Oh, I was covering that up. Sorry, shit. Yeah.
Oh, you mean you didn't just start firing off everywhere after they told you to leave?
Nope.
You didn't do a desk pop?
Incredible.
Didn't do a what?
You didn't do a desk pop or nothing?
Desk pop.
Oh yeah, and right after they kicked us off the stage, Matt Short noticed that they had left a knife like out in the open with a bunch of kids running around playing, and he's like, "Hey, you guys might want to put that weapon away so that kids don't get hurt." It was hilarious. Oh, good times. Okay, and so this is after my daughter's diagnosis, when she asked us to, make our hair like hers, and so this is Bald Patrick, another phase in the long saga of Patrick hair. Good times.
Hey everybody, it's me, Patrick. Sans hair.
Yeah. Fallstar says he wouldn't even vote for me. Thank you, Fallstar. I appreciate that. Then let's see, what else did we have? Oh, we had the anarcho-capitalist versus libertarian socialist debate. This, if you guys haven't watched this, do if you want, if you're interested, but man, it's like an hour and a half of basically this guy not answering a single question that I asked him. It was entertaining for me.
Patrick has strange ways of entertaining himself, though. That's known.
I do. And then this was our first episode of the book club, because we found, and if you guys haven't found these, there's a playlist on the YouTube channel called The Book Club, where we go through and we find, we dig up these old articles from the 60s, where people made really good anarcho-capitalistic arguments and just really, really good content, but it's buried in these archaic archives, and no one reads them anymore because everybody ingests things either through their eyes or ears on YouTube or Audible these days. And so we started trying to put some of that content on YouTube for people. And so far, I think they've been really appreciated. We've got, I think there's 5 or 6 of these now. We started with Rothbard. We did Rand after that. We did Atlas Shrugged, Money, all kinds of good stuff there. Oh, yes. And then...
What are we doing here today, Patrick?
We humble slaves are going to approach the master's seat of high power and request permission. Beg, grovel for permission. Plead.
Welcome.
So getting your passport?
Yeah, we wore slave garb and slave chains, and we went and applied and got our passports to go to Acapulco for an Acapulco. Yeah, so this is us.
So is your passport photo of you with the chain around your neck?
Oh, 100, like fully legit. We're in our slave guard on my passport. I can't show it to you, obviously. But like Sean even like had his whole chains on. Like he is full slave in his passport photo. It is glorious. It is absolutely glorious. I would recommend it for everyone. Though I will say, little bit awkward because the really nice, polite. She was just so nice. Like we expected to start like we expected like. I mean, Kason, you know, we expected like contentious content, right? And
I was expecting. We went to the ritzy part of town, the really ritzy part of town, where it's like one of the highest GDP's zip codes in America. We went to their post office, and it's like, oh man, we're gonna have big problems here. And then they're just like, oh yeah, that's fine, whatever. Meanwhile, in the other parts of town, they were like, no, you can't film here. You're not allowed. Get out of here, you punk. You know.
Yeah, and so in this nice one, it was kind of awkward because the lady that helped us, she was super nice and black. And, you know, we were role-playing slaves, and I don't think it didn't really connect in the way that I think we were hoping it would. But, yeah, it was a fun video.
Right over the hit.
That's my passport photo. And, yes, I look frowny. Yep. There's Sean's. He's got his chains on. Oh, I'm in the way. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Good times. Oh, then
there's a line that whenever Patrick goes, I see you have kept your chains very nice and shiny. May your chains ever be light upon your neck. Like coming up with all these weird greetings to greet people, like just talking to random people in the post office, like, may your burden from master be light. May your chains never wear down your neck. Like you're walking around like a little monk, you know.
And then then we did what happened? Washington Post. What? Did YouTube just what?
They're taking over. They know.
The machines are coming.
YouTube, what are you doing? It's just I was playing the guillotine, and now I'm looking at Washington Post.
Did YouTube just force you to watch a COVID video?
Yes. Anyway, so we did a guillotine march. We did an armed guillotine march. We carried a guillotine up the steps of a county courthouse. This is like the activism phase, and this is kind of ongoing. We still do all kinds of We still do all kinds of fun stuff for that. Then I was honored with being asked to speak at Anarchapulco. This was last year, and so we gave a talk on building your tribe, like creating a group of voluntarists where you live. It's a great video. A lot of good practical tips on how to build a voluntarist community around you where you live every day. Good stuff. Yeah, Techno, Jeff Bezos totally just threw us at Washington Post there. I don't know what happened. So that was like my first like really interaction with a lot of the Anarchapulco, like Jeff Berwick, anarchist crowd, a lot of those people. Good times. Good times were had by all. We did.
If I were to go into your neighborhood that has the HOA, and I were to just start mowing everyone's lawn, and then I leave a bill on everybody's door, I say it's going to cost them $100. And I don't actually have a valid claim of property over any of these people's land. I'm just going there and I'm rendering a service that they never asked for.
Earlier today, we did a thing you might have heard about called Change My Mind, except here at Anarchapulco, it was kind of hard to find people that wanted to change our mind on the fact that taxation is theft. So I went undercover as Statist Patrick to allow people to test their arguments and to sharpen their wit on me.
The arbiter of truth and all that is holy.
And so Kason went with me, and to great expense to all of us. We spent a week in Acapulco making content. We had a blast. Kason facilitated so much of what this channel has done over the past couple years. So I thank you for that still, Kason.
I got to give you credit, though, Patrick, because whenever you're talking about the book club and a couple other things, you use the royal we by discrediting yourself, because that was 100% Patrick. The vlog was 100% Patrick. The book club is 100% Patrick. I think Patrick's uncomfortable with hearing his name in a good light. Patrick, you do a great job.
I'm working on it. I'm working on not blushing constantly. So, moving on. So, then we had
Joe.
Oh, this was a big moment for the channel. This was Joe Gamaldi. This was what was it? The Tuttle? What's his name? Tuttle over in Houston when they got murdered by the cops. and then the police union.
I just want to thank
president,
the community, the individuals, especially the neighbors.
the police union president came out and was talking mad shit to people that were upset at the police, and it was like four episodes almost back to back where we really dove in and dissected the situation and exactly what happened. We went like step by step and like really like reported. That was one of the first times we've like been reporters on something, and we told the story of what happened. And those videos were pretty successful, and you know, I've been watching out for the next thing that we can dive in and do. Yep. Then we spoke to Joe Quirk. We got involved with the Seasteader guys. We interviewed them. It was great. Then, you know, I encountered Euron Brook, who I had been following for a long time, and was astounded to find out that he is, you know, he's the chairman of the board of the Ayn Rand Institute and considers anarcho-capitalists, quote, I think more evil than communists, like worse than communists. And so there was a few videos in there where we spent some time taking his arguments to little bits. Those are.
Oh, you got to skip to the end of that one and find out what the socialist non-arguments were at. It was like hundreds or something like that. We had a little scoreboard going at the top right. That was a fun stream.
Yeah. Yep. I don't have that stream up, but this is just a clip where I took down Euron Brook. But yeah, we had a little scoreboard going where we kept track of each person's non-arguments. He was debating a socialist. It was good times. Good times. Let's see. Oh, this was one of the first times where we kind of got sideways of another content creator.
So you can already see the first thing you're describing. Kind of mentioned when I was talking about.
This was when We Are Libertarians allowed a communist to publish on their platform, and I criticized them for it. And a couple friendships were ended over me criticizing their platform for allowing a communist to publish on a website named We Are Libertarians. Yeah, so that was probably the first really like controversial video I think on the platform, aside from maybe the gubernatorial debate ones where we were showing people their unlibertarianness. What do you think, Kason?
The ones where you broke laws by feeding homeless people and drag guillotines up steps of courthouses. I mean, this is definitely the most offensive thing. Whatever it's like, you guys should not have a communist on your website, whatever you claim to be libertarians. 100%.
Yeah, it seems obvious to me, right? You know, and I think somewhere in there, you know, the Kokesh thing happened. I don't want to even go into all that. That was a big mess on the channel. Then we did a live stream where we were talking about objectivism and free will and the existence of free will. Except this time, like I threw on the 3D goggles and I played a video game while we talked about objectivism's conception of free will. Good times were had. Then we tried on the channel, like playing video games.
Greetings, undead cheerleaders. Welcome back to Disenthrall.
Don't even know what that meant. So we had like 5 episodes of some video games. We had a good time. So like
this is how it will happen.
Oh, this was good too.
It's a Sunday night and your family has all gone to bed.
This is the red flag law video. So like we have all like literally every kind of format known to man for video production. I think we've tried at some point everything from cartoon and capism to vlogging to narrative storytelling and what? Kason looks like he's about to say something.
Sock puppets. We haven't done sock puppets yet.
Next week on Disenthrall. Yeah, so then let's see. We did the Peaceful Parenting Talk this year. This is the big news. Yeah. So this was a main stage talk at Anarchapulco, and we did it on the Peaceful Parenting University that is premiering very soon. And you know, I did a talk on principled parenting as like what comes after peaceful parenting. If you haven't seen this talk, especially if you have children, you should definitely watch it. peacefulparentinguniversity.com for that. Sign up, put your name on the email list, and when we release the first batch of content, whoever's name is on the email list will get like the very first offer, which will be the lowest rate that we ever give anyone ever. So if that's going to be content that you're interested in, get your email on that list.
I watched it, and I don't even have children.
It was good. I thought it was really good. Like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Very practical stuff.
Wait, you say now I might have children? Like it changed your mind?
I said, no, I watched it and I don't have children. That's what I said.
Oh, I don't have children. Because there was some guy.
I watched it, and I'm going to have some kids.
There was this guy that came up at Anarchapulco and he was like, your video, it has convinced me to have children. Or your speech, but still.
By the end of it, it was like two people that had said something along the lines of, I think I'll have children now after watching that speech. So it was super inspirational. Like lives were changed by this stuff. And it's definitely something that I think we should do more of for sure. Well, we are doing more. We are going to do more of it.
I wonder what was preventing them from having kids before that the video changed their mind on. That's interesting.
I don't know. But yeah,
maybe they didn't know like a better way than what their parents had done, and now they like found a way to do it better. I don't know.
Well, to raise children. Box is empty. Like maybe they were raised in a bad kind of parenting situation. And they're like, I don't want to do that, and they never thought of like because everybody tells you what not to do. But like in the speech, Patrick was talking about this is what you can do. That's like inside of a principle, rather than
right.
Just don't hit your kids. Okay, we know that. We know that. What next?
Yeah,
exactly. All the things that I had no idea when I first decided that being a peaceful parent was the only acceptable moral option. It was like, okay, now what? What do we do? Okay, I know I'm not supposed to hit them, but how do I actually get them to brush their teeth? Like the basics, the parenting basics. Like they say, don't hit your kids. You're like, okay, I'm not going to hit my kids. But now what? Like what's step 2? Well, that's what we're doing. We're building that toolbox for people. Okay, so that's kind of like the history of the channel. And now, like with the 3 people involved from the production standpoint that have ever been involved, I wanted to talk about where we think we should go now, considering Anarchast is going to be a thing, and this goes out to the people watching too. Like, a lot of time is going to be spent doing interviews for Anarchast, whereas previously I might have tried to get those same interviews on Disenthrall. But like I see the channels as still being different and still having like a place. So like Disenthrall is not going away, but we need to make sure that like we're all on board and we have good ideas for like where we go from here. So I wanted to invite Ryan on the show to see if he had any ideas. And Kason as well, and then also to you guys in the audience, like what kind of content do you enjoy? Why did you subscribe to this channel? That's the question. Why did you subscribe to this channel? What content were you interested in that you liked? And what do you want to see more of in addition to what we're going to do over on Anarchast? So that's kind of the question. Kason, to you first. What are your thoughts?
Well, so
Kason
I mean,
wants sock puppets.
Oh,
yeah,
sock puppets.
Are definitely
Right down there.
Anarchast, whenever I watch it, is always a place to discuss ideas and typically to give other people an ability to speak about whatever it is grinding their gears or something they want to talk about. And I think the change there is to add in a little bit of, like, hey, why do you believe what you believe? Just a little bit of epistemology. How do you know what's good from wrong or correct from incorrect, and then like good from evil, As far as Disenthrall, it's all, activism. Like somebody was commenting in the comments earlier, and it's already past that point, but they said, I'm so glad that you, Patrick, do what other people only talk about doing. And it's like, that is obviously affecting other people. Like, it affected me whenever I met you. At first, I was going to run away because I'm like, oh man, this guy's armed. He's crazy. He's absolutely insane. He's carrying a gun openly in public, because that was not a thing at the time. But now it's like, oh, I'm so glad that Patrick is here. Like, he's living out what he proclaims to believe, and that's really cool.
So I still want to have guests on. I still want to debate people. And maybe debate is a big part of what this channel will be. I still want to create new philosophy content that teaches the ideas. So in fact, I don't even know, like, I don't even think that like we have to stop doing something about Disenthrall that's going to be done on Anarchast now. It seems just like we're going to just do more content. And I found out like that Anarchast has not been like monetized in a lot of the available ways to monetize it. So, if we can get support behind these platforms, then we can pay our bills, and then we can do this full time, which would be the end goal of all things ever, would be to spend, to wake up and to just spend all day doing activism and freeing minds. Like that is my dream. And so Anarchast might be a big step towards that. So Ryan, do you have any thoughts? Like you're no longer like involved in the production of the show, but I know that you watched the show and you were in on it in the beginning, and you were, a big part of its inspiration and stuff. So if you have any thoughts on where you'd like to see it go, I would love to hear those as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think, like what you were saying, if you just record some of how you're applying your ethics and morals in your daily life, if you can record some of that and kind of put it together and release it monthly or whatever, whenever you have enough content to make a video, that might be super inspiring for people to see exactly how they can practically put to use what they have learned.
That is a really good and useful idea. And here's a problem. I'm not saying it's not doable. Maybe you can help me think of a way around this, but so I'm building content for the Peaceful Parenting University right now, and what that involves is sharing very personal family stuff. It involves telling you things that my children have done and ways that we handled these problems in my personal family life, things that I would never share ever anywhere. And I do that only because there is no better way to teach. It's teaching lessons. The only way, it's not the only way, but it's the only really effective way is to look at this real life situation. Here's what we actually did that actually worked, and that I'm recommending that you actually do. And that's why I did in my Anarchapulco talk, it was all just one personal life story after another, after another, after another. And it was stuff that I would never normally share. I'm usually really sort of private about stuff, but the challenge is people, I have to be careful because I can't assume that the adult version of my children will consent to me telling a bunch of personal stories about them. And so I have to evaluate each one very carefully. What am I talking about? Do I have the consent of the people involved to talk about this very personal stuff that they might know? There's a lot of life lessons or marriage lessons with my wife that I would that would be really good teaching points for people, but a lot of them, it's really personal. And my wife isn't signed up. She loves that I do this, and she appreciates that I do this activism. But, I wouldn't want all of my personal stuff out there all the time, for everybody to sort of dig through and judge. So I haven't figured out how to do that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely understand. There's a lot of people that have shielded their children from their internet content because it's respectful to your children and the future selves, of course.
Yeah, and but it's not always like that. Recently we did so my kids are at the point now where they're starting to understand the basic rules of ethics, and they're able to reciprocate them. And so this is a video that we're building for the Peaceful Parenting University project, but it's they're at the point now where they understand the rules. Okay, if I don't want Dagny to be able to take my toys when I don't want her to, or when I say no, then I can't take Dagny's toys when she says no. And so they've got the reciprocity, but what the next step is proportionate response. They're at the age where they need to learn that proportionate response. If somebody trespasses on your lawn, step one is not blow their head off. Step one is hey, get off my lawn. And step two is get off my lawn or else. Step three is maybe you push them off your lawn, or, then you punch them. And so there's a series of steps that you go through. You don't just jump right to the worst possible thing. And so teaching children proportionate response, we have a whole diagram that we drew. It's a sort of a ladder of force, and they understand a ladder. We drew a little ladder with little cartoon pictures as they go up the ladder, and at the bottom it's say no, say stop, walk away, and then above that is maybe make mean faces at them, and then above that is say mean words to them, and and then the next one is grab them and then punch them, and then maybe take their property, and so we go up the list of force. And then we use this anyway. I'm not going to teach the whole video now, but
it seems like. Oh, go ahead.
So I was just saying, we've built this awesome system for teaching young minds proportionate response to aggression, and it works, and they understand it. And, like when one of my kids goes to, does something to the other, and we're like, hey, you realize you just climbed up the ladder, and Atlas might respond because you've put yourself on the ladder. They know instantly what that means, and they back the hell off the ladder right away, right? Anyway, so that's a great, like, real life situation that we're going to turn into content to teach parents how to instruct their kids on this stuff. So yes, I agree that that's important.
a lot of whenever we're explaining theories of voluntarism and stuff like that we come up with hypothetical situations. So maybe that's the way to go. We'd have to just come up with hypothetical situations that apply to what you're trying to teach, to try and skirt around, privacy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Sherry says, I came here because of your activism. I'd love to see Disenthrall be the channel for activism. Totally agree. Yeah. But I mean, Anarchast is not going to be the same as it was with Jeff. It can't. Jeff is a totally different type of human personality than I am. He's very chill, very loving, and go along, get along. And I like challenging people. And, if somebody says some stupid stuff, like, I'm not a person that can just let that stuff go. So Anarchast might get a little more spicy, and it might be kind of more entertaining for some people that like that kind of thing. And, it's... And I want to evolve it in other ways. Like, Anarchast has never had a live stream. We do live streams all the time. And, if I'm interviewing somebody awesome like Ron Paul, how cool would it be to be in the chat and, like, do a super chat to ask a question and stuff like that? And, like, that is going to happen for Anarchast, 100%. That's going to be really cool. We're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I'm super down with live content. I think a lot of people are really down for live content as well, without a doubt.
Yes. Yep. And the cool thing about Anarchast as a show is that it's got enough subscribers that the guests will come to the show. The guests request to be on the show, whereas on Disenthrall with 2600, it's me going around begging and networking to get good guests. So it's going to be cool. We're going to get access to some awesome interviews. Kurt says, Kason's a hero. Anarchast asks, will Anarchast be on its own site or part of your Twitch? That is undecided. Very likely separate, at least in the beginning, I think. We'll have to figure that out and go from there.
Yeah, you can always host it.
Yep, we can host it for sure. Yep. Line your lawn with claymores, problem solved. Good one. That's a solution. Yep.
Yeah. So my one suggestion is basically that theory is fun. Playing in like a mental gymnasium, it's a lot of fun. We've done it a lot. But if you can bring some more practical implementation into this channel, I think that's going to be really good.
I think I need prompting for that too. So like if people think of like, here's a situation, what's the correct sort of principle to apply, or how do we apply the principle to this situation? I need that feedback from people too, because it's kind of hard to just sort of go through life thinking, oh, everyone wants to hear about what just happened. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Kason?
All right, Patrick, solve COVID-19. What is our response as a nation? Go.
Our response as the nation. I'm going to hang up on you, sir.
Prompting on a situation to try to work
I mean, handle your business and try not to endanger people. Like fascists are revealing themselves literally everywhere. Tyrants are revealing themselves. Like the city of Dallas just banned. Like I think they closed all bars and schools and gatherings over 500 and. So, like, the city of Dallas was with a stroke of a pen, an executive order, just gave themselves, the governor gave himself emergency powers to basically do anything he wants without having to go through the bureaucracy. The health inspector now has the power to force quarantine people for force quarantine people, meaning point guns at you to quarantine you. And if you resist, it's an instant 180 days in prison. So, like, all over the country, all over the world right now, and we haven't done a Corona show, but like all the tyrants are revealing themselves. They are out and they are showing you who they are. And I'm saying that we just do not have enough guillotines. That's the start and end of my Corona show. That's
basically what a state of emergency is. It just gives people the power to do things and skip steps to get to the final result. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's the scary excuse to steal power. James Freeman, I'm seeing you in the comments. Dude, your content lately has been so entertaining. If you guys don't sub to James Freeman, oh man. Oh, it's some of the best content out there for cop watching and First Amendment auditing, that kind of stuff. So please check out James Freeman. See, like, we can invite James Freeman on Anarchast now to be one of the guests. Guys, I'm so excited about this. We're going to have so much fun. It's just going to be great. It's going to be amazing. James, we'll talk. See if you want to get interviewed. You have no doubt have some cool things to say. All right. Well, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about what's happening. I wanted to share this with the Disenthrall viewers because they're the ones that have been with us for 6 years. And I wanted to thank you, Kason, and thank you, Ryan, for coming back to the show for today. And guys, you're awesome. So, yep. You have anything else you want to talk about, guys? Any
to close this out, give us a meme, Patrick.
Give us a meme? Oh, I got the meme. Do we want what?
Give us one good meme. Play us out. What does that mean? Play us out.
All right, guys. I've got the meme. Let me just say before I play us out with a meme. Thank you for subscribing to Disenthrall. Thank you for being my friends and our viewers and giving us feedback in the comments and being with us and hanging out in the Discord and playing video games with us and and holding me accountable when I say some stupid stuff in the comments and just being generally awesome people. So thank you for that. Thank you, Kason, for helping the channel. Thank you, Ryan, for helping me start it all. And all right, time to play us out. Here we go. All right, here's the big play out meme. Here we go. It is not working. My meme button is not working.
Quick, Ryan, bust out the sock puppets.
Okay.
Sock puppet Ryan. Up.
Forgive me for that.
What's in that wallet?
Okay, well, it's hard to beat that. So, if you're not following us on all the different platforms, check out disenthrall.me/platforms. We literally publish to just about the entire internet after every video. And until next time, guys, take it easy.